If a spouse is viewing pornography regularly, is that considered adultery? Queen Creek campus, really good question. Here's what Jesus defines adultery as. He says in his Sermon on the Mount, he says, if somebody looks lustfully at another person, they're committing adultery in their heart. Which the standard was, the religious view was, well, as long as I'm not sleeping with anybody who's not my spouse, I'm not committing adultery. Jesus says if you're thinking lustfully, you're committing adultery, which, by the way, that makes pretty much everybody in the room an adulterer. So Jesus doesn't lower the bar, he raises the bar, and he says none of you are capable of keeping that. So when it comes to, is that considered adultery? It is adultery in your heart. And if that's you and that's your relationship or that's your spouse, I would say that you want to get help with that, because that is going to destroy the intimacy in the relationship. That's not a healthy thing that you want in marriage. And because we live in such a hyper-sexualized culture where there are images that are constantly being thrown at us, even in just what would be considered, oh, it's just an advertisement. They're highly sexualized. So I believe we have a pornography pandemic as a culture. I believe that that's, for the most part, worldwide. And so there are resources to help if that is something that has become part of that marriage. It's something that one or both of you deal with, that you want to go to a Celebrate Recovery. You want to go through some kind of a recovery program, and God can help you with that. If that is you, there is hope for you in your marriage, but don't just keep trying to overcome that on your own. It is something that is an addiction that needs real help and real support.
Yeah, and it is a very real addiction. I mean, they've done studies on it, and it's like being addicted to a hard drug. Your brain is releasing the same kind of chemicals. That's why you can't stop looking at it. You're going to have to detox, and you're going to have to get some help. Yeah, Robert mentioned the passage. If you want to look it up, it's Matthew chapter 5, beginning in verse 27. But yeah, it's pornography is a very sad substitute for true, healthy, life-giving sexuality. It actually brings death, whereas God created sex to bring life to your marriage. Sex was not created by some guy that has a website somewhere. Sex was created by God, and it was created by God to knit a husband and wife together, physically, obviously, but also emotionally and spiritually. And pornography will rob you of that. And so I want to encourage you to get help, to get rid of it, and to fight for your marriage. And, make that your number one relationship, and take out any comparisons or any other things sexually, and fight for that, because that really binds you together and makes you one. And it makes, frankly, it makes sex a whole lot better. And you'll begin to experience what it was created for, and that just takes it to a whole nother level.